Hello, my name is Pam Horner. I live on the beautiful Sunshine Coast in Gibsons, British Columbia. I'm a potter. This is my studio, and so welcome to Pottery by Pam. I'm a hand builder. I build everything from this slab roller from a slab of clay that looks like this. So I thought I'd take a few minutes to show you how I make a piece. When I roll it out, I can roll it out, the clay out, any thickness I want. But I usually roll it to about 1/4 of an inch or 7 millimeters because the clay shrinks as it dries. And so I allow for that so it becomes the thickness that I want it to be. So let's get started. The first thing I do is I make a template. This way, if I make multiples of the same thing, then I know that they're all going to be the same size. Now I like to have some texture. So we're going to put some texture on this bud vase. Use cornstarch to keep the texture from sticking and becoming distorted. This is a hand roller, and I'm going to use it to put the pattern on the bud vase. Now what ends up happening is it becomes a little distorted because of the pressure of my hand. So I go back, measure to make sure that it's still the same size as I started. And this side is a little off kilter, so we'll trim that back again to what it was. Now when I join this, I want to make sure that the seam is not too thick. So I'm cutting that on a little bit of an angle. Where your pieces are going to join, you need to make sure that they will join with each other. So I do this, just scratch that, and then I'm going to wet it. Some potters make a slurry that they put on it, but I find that by doing what I did with the serrated edge and then putting water on it, it just makes its own slurry. Now we're going to join the two sides. Now I'm joining on the inside. Just with my hand, I'm pushing. Look down and see if it's reasonably round, which is always a good thing. And we need to put a bottom on it. I use these little cookie cutters, biscuit cutters. So now I'm going to go cut a piece out of the clay. It's important that you try and get that flat before you attach it. We'll do the same thing here because we're going to join the bottom. I usually go in two directions. And then the other direction. And we need to make the slurry on each of these. So now I'm trying to make the bottom of the piece fit into the bottom that I've cut. Okay, now we're going to make sure that they're sticking to each other. This pony roller, or actually this is a brayer that people use in printing. And so that will give it some lift. I find that one of the things that helps is if I put it on my knee. And then that makes a slight indentation. Now we need to make the top. So going to squeeze. I'm squeezing this in. Again, reinforcing that inside. So now we need to bring the lip out. Again, the clay is malleable at this time, at this point. If it's too dry, it would start to break. If it's too wet, it's going to collapse. So now I'm actually wetting it more because I want this to really go out a little bit. It's not quite thin enough on the end for me. So I'm heavily watering my fingers to make it thin on the edge. Now I want it ruffled. One of the things about hand building is that you definitely use your hands, whereas people who work on the wheel form all this on the wheel, but I like being able to shape it. And I can give it uniqueness. And the last thing I do is I give it buttons. So this is the finished one.